Testing. One, two, three. What is up, late baes? Welcome back to my channel. If you are returning, and of course, welcome if you are new here, and specifically a special welcome to the new subscribers that came from the video that this video is a follow up for, which is my travel vlog for my first international solo trip that I took back in November. Yep, it was November because it was literally right after the Thanksgiving holiday. So I really just wanted to do a follow up video just to talk to you guys about that experience and kind of how I got to that point of deciding that I was going to do something that I considered something I was pretty scared to do, but also at the same time, believe it or not, spontaneously book the trip. And that's something that I just feel like in life is all about just really bringing yourself out of your comfort zone, doing things that make you uncomfortable, and just seeing the manifestation of what being courageous. And when I say manifestation, I'm just talking about the outcome of, what you have been nervous about and what you have maybe not had confidence in, and then finally doing it and then seeing the growth that comes out of it is what I mean by that. And so I guess I'll start off with what even got me to the point of even considering to do something like going abroad or going to a different country by myself. And so for me, it's been a lot of growth, a lot of self-love, and a journey of just really enjoying being by myself. And I feel like when I moved to a new state, that's when I really had to learn how to be comfortable by myself because I moved to Florida completely alone. I didn't know anybody. I met people while I was in school, but I came down here like literally by myself. No friends, no family here. And I really just started to enjoy my own company. And I would actually consider myself at this point in my life more of an introvert than an extrovert, which I always kind of laugh when I say that out loud because I know most people that know me, they would think the opposite just because of how I am around people. I'm really energetic, kind of that just life of the party type of deal. But I actually do consider myself to be an introvert just because I feel like I have really learned to thrive by myself and enjoy the time by myself. So I didn't just overnight, get the courage or get the guts to go and travel abroad internationally. Like it started off with just being comfortable by myself and starting off with things like just being comfortable going shopping by myself, being comfortable just walking around the mall. And when I say being comfortable, not like, oh, I'm uncomfortable as in I feel unsafe. I mean, just not feeling like awkward or feeling like something was wrong because I went places where maybe you would see a lot of people together, but I would start not feeling any type of way about it. And then I would start doing things like, then I would go a notch further and I would do things like go out to lunch or to dinner by myself. And that's something that a lot of people actually talk about feeling very awkward. I've heard people say like, oh my gosh, like I feel so awkward when I go places, when I go out to eat by myself because you're just literally sitting there. And most of the time when you go out to eat, like you never really see anyone sitting at the table by themselves, right? So you feel awkward, but the thing is, nobody is paying attention to you. Like, we really put so much emphasis on what people think about us. And y'all, these people do not be thinking about what you're doing. I promise you. Like, and even if they are, it's literally people you will like never see again in your life. Like, it's like, what are the odds that you're going to see this person that's staring at you and wondering why you're by yourself? Like, who cares? And so I really got to that point where I would just start doing things by myself and just having a ball. I would literally go to lunch by myself. I would go to dinner by myself, and it wasn't all the time. I usually prefer to take out because I like coming home and just being comfortable and watching TV or something while I eat. But I had no issues if I truly wanted to sit down at a restaurant and not do takeout. Like I had no issues doing that. After the first couple of times, it's like, okay. Sometimes I would go and I would take a good book and I would literally just sit there and read while I was eating and just get into my own world, not worried about what anybody else is doing or whatever the case may be. Then I started escalating to things like going to a concert by myself. And y'all, when I tell y'all that concert going has been the best time by myself, like I have the time of my life. I think at this point I have been to one, two, three. It could be like as many as 4 concerts by myself, maybe 3 or 4. And I'm talking about within the last couple of years. So maybe it's been about, oh wow, I think I've been to like 4 by myself over the last couple of years. And when I tell y'all I had the time of my life, and those situations were just simply because I would decide last minute that I wanted to go to a concert, found out that somebody I liked was in town, and decided that I was going to go at the last minute and just didn't really want to go and start asking people. First, because it's like a last minute ask. I don't really like asking people stuff last minute. Secondly, it costs money. So it's like asking somebody, to come to a concert for like $50 last minute. It's like, for me, it's just like a big ask. And like, I just didn't want to like ask anybody. And then I didn't really like want to worry about somebody or not really knowing, well, which one of my friends would like this particular artist, or which one of my friends would like that particular artist. You know what I mean? So I was just like, let's just go. I've been to one in Miami Beach, have been to one in Fort Lauderdale, two actually, two in Miami, 2 or 3 in Miami, and then 2 in Fort Lauderdale. So just kind of all over the place. But like I said, always had a time, had the time of my life, y'all. And because I would go by myself, I would get like the last minute ticket. So I would get a great deal on a seat because it was like one of those last minute tickets that they're trying to sell. And I didn't have to worry about finding, multiple tickets together because I'm going by myself. So I feel like going to a concert like kind of really elevated like my experience of just like enjoying being alone, because concerts are, everybody's just they're they're just vibing. So I never like felt alone. Like I would literally befriend or like talk to the people that were next to me. One time I was at the floor and we had a ball. Other times I was in the seats and just singing along with the people next to me. So I really did not notice that I was alone because, again, we're just all there having fun. Like nobody's paying attention to the fact that you're alone. Like they're literally, if anything, they were vibing more with me because I was alone. I don't know if they felt like, that, oh, she's going to be lonely or whatever, but I wasn't. And I still had an amazing time, even with the people like next to me and all of that. So just to kind of summarize from this point, basically what I mean is that I didn't just start going on trips by myself overnight. I made sure that I was comfortable with myself and comfortable, because I also feel like for safety reasons, you want to make sure that you're comfortable being by yourself in new environments. And again, this does not have to start off by you going, I do not recommend anybody just one day necessarily. I mean, you know yourself. So let me not say that, but I would say that I would not be a person that really thrives off of others' energy and then just one day decide to maybe go to a whole another state or like in a whole nother country by yourself. Like I think you really have to like just kind of give yourself time to be comfortable being alone, and then get, elevate yourself to that next opportunity of you, um of that the next risk that you want to take, I guess, by doing things solo. So again, starting off with those little things and then kind of elevating from there. And then I've actually done solo trips in the United States as well. But the first solo trip I did was a trip where I went somewhere solo. But I knew the first one that I can remember was when I went to go visit my cousin in LA for spring break. And that was like my senior year of college, which was years ago. So that was like my first experience of going to a different city and state by myself. So, but again, I met my cousin there, but I most of the time I was by myself because I came at a time when my cousin was still in school. He was also working. So basically just saw him kind of like at night, and I think I stayed maybe one weekend day. But other than that, I literally explored the city of LA by myself and had an amazing time. And again, that was the first time of me like going out of the state by myself, different city, navigating public transportation, and just again having that solo time. But that was good for me because that gave me, again, I had a point of contact there. I was staying with someone that lived there. So God forbid anything happened or if I needed anything, I had somebody there. So that was a good like first opportunity. And honestly, once that one got out of the way, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I can go places, I can explore and be fine. And so the next solo trip I did was to New York, and that was like a couple of years after LA, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was like a few years after LA, and I went to New York. So at this point, I'm going to these big cities, but mind you, when I went to New York, that was after the fact that I had already moved to Florida. So I had plenty of time to be by myself because when I moved to Florida, I was by myself. So it went from exploring like a new city like Los Angeles to moving to a whole nother state. And at that point, I was just, I was ready because the majority of the time I'm by myself anyway. I was by myself at the time, when I was just relocating. And then obviously once I met my friends and everything like that, it wasn't like that anymore. But yeah, initially I was pretty much by myself all the time. So going to another city was like nothing. So I went to New York by myself, decided I was going to go for my birthday, and I knew somebody there as well. So that was a perfect opportunity for me to explore a new city, explore on my own, because again, I went when the person I stayed with, she was working. So she was occupied most of the time I was there, and I literally explored New York completely by myself. And I kid y'all not, that trip I hit all of the boroughs except for Staten Island. I think Staten Island is still considered one of the boroughs. So sorry, you New Yorkers, if I'm saying it wrong or whatever the case may be. But I know for a fact during that trip, I hit Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, and I guess that's four out of the five. So I guess Staten Island is the fifth one. So literally on that trip, I hit like four out of the five. I was everywhere, y'all. I went to Yankee Stadium. I went to The View. I was an audience member on The View that trip. I mean, I went to Times Square. I was all over the place, but had the best time ever. And again, had a point of contact. So big city, public transportation all the way through. I got into an Uber once, and that was just to get to the airport because it was a really early flight. But other than that, I was completely on my own. Did another solo trip to New York a couple years, I think a year or two after that, during Christmas time. Bought that ticket 2 days before departure as a quick trip. I had a really just headache type of week. And one thing about me, I'm always looking at flights. I'm always seeing, what's going on with flights. And I just was looking. I saw a cheap flight on JetBlue. I had some flight credit to use. And I said, well, I'm going to go to New York. I want to see the Christmas lights. I want to like just go during the Christmas time. And again, same thing. Too late to be asking people to go with. Didn't want to ask people to go with. And just decided to go. And I had, again, the time of my life. So at this point, we're on I guess this is a third solo trip in the United States. So at this point, like I'm really confident in traveling by myself. Like I'll pretty much travel anywhere in the US that is safe. I'm not gonna just go anywhere, and that's just, kind of being vigilant, all of that stuff. Like, you want to make sure that, especially as a female solo traveler, that you are safe and going into safe areas, or safe as possible, but at this point, I was definitely ready to, just kind of conquer the world. But I hadn't like actually formally planned any type of international solo travel at this point. And so I was on the Girls Love Travel Facebook page. I am a part of that group, and if you're a girl that loves travel, highly recommend that you find that group, because those ladies have been so inspirational to me. I'm more of the like quiet group member. I kind of just like stay in the background and read posts and like posts and different things of that nature. But those ladies are so helpful, and they have inspired me to, to continue to solo travel. And so I was actually on the page one day, randomly one day in November, last November, and one of the members of the group was talking about her experience solo traveling in Amsterdam, and was just talking about what an amazing time that she had. It was a great location for a solo traveler, great location in terms of she felt safe and she really enjoyed herself, easy to get around, all that good stuff. And I get y'all not, I was literally like thinking, I started looking up flights immediately. I literally immediately to Amsterdam. And I also had a flight credit on Delta that I needed to use. Now, Delta's main hub is Atlanta. If you know, you know. I mean, Delta Daner owns the city of Atlanta, y'all. Like, you're gonna see Delta everywhere. If you've ever been to Atlanta, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So at the time, I was already going to be in Atlanta for Thanksgiving break. My family had already made plans to be there for Thanksgiving break. And so I decided that I was like, well, okay, if I'm already going to be in Atlanta, then let me see if there's a flight somewhere. And in this case, I was specifically looking at Amsterdam. So I said, okay, well, let me switch the departure city to Atlanta, since I'm already going to be there in Atlanta, and let me just see what pops up. So mind you, I was leaving for Atlanta, I think the next week, if I'm not mistaken. So from the time that I looked up the flight, I was leaving like the next week, or like a week and a half later. No, it was on a Saturday. So I believe it literally was like 1 or 2 weeks before my departure for Atlanta. And I saw this crazy deal on Delta, under $500. Mind you, the flight's leaving in 2 weeks to Amsterdam, and and this is round trip, and of course I had my flight credit. So I was like, what if I just do this? And I literally did not even all the way think it through. I said, I'll go for the weekend. If I hate it, I'm only there for a couple of days. If I love it, it'd be an opportunity for me to go back. So I didn't even think about inviting anybody else. I was just like, I'm going to do this. Because again, last minute, didn't want to ask anybody. I'm always doing stuff last minute, y'all. That's the thing. Like, this stuff be spur of the moment, and I don't like burdening people or asking people last minute, to do things that cost them money. Because honestly, if I had told my parents ahead of time, they probably would have like been worried, and one of them probably would have tried to go with me. Honestly, I would have been, well, I'll say this, I would have been surprised if they did. So I didn't tell them until I'd already booked my ticket, and I literally called my dad up and was like, I don't want you to talk me out of this because it's already done. I just want you to know what's going on, because I'm very close to my parents, and basically just told them like, I'm going to Amsterdam. I'm going to go by myself. It's just for the weekend, and just need you to be supportive and book my hotel for me. And both of my parents were actually very supportive, and I think they just know me by now that there's really no talking me out of it. Like, once I put my mind to it, like, I'm going, like, I'm gone. And so that's how I ended up booking the ticket. And y'all, when I tell you, after I booked it, I was like, wait, Lay, are you really doing this? Like, are you really about to do this? And sure enough, I was about to do it. And it really did not hit me completely that I was about to travel by myself across the pond, go to Europe, all of that, until I was literally vlogging. And if you guys watched the vlog, I literally said, I cannot believe I'm going on my first international solo trip and I'm very nervous. And I said that on my vlog because I was very nervous. I was standing in the airport waiting to board my flight. And that's when it really hit me, like, this is something that I've never done before. Like, this is it. Like, this is everything that I told you guys before, like all the background, like that's what led me to that point. This is probably the riskiest thing I think I've ever done. This is the thing that took me out of my comfort zone the most, but it is the best thing I think that I've ever done for myself other than relocate. And I literally was on that plane, and as soon as I boarded, it's like the adrenaline rush just I felt like so empowered. I felt like unstoppable, but not in a way that, you just feel unstoppable, like nothing can touch me, like not like that. I was just proud of myself. Like I was like, you really on this plane. I'm looking at people having a seat and they're talking to their family member and this person and that person. And I'm just sitting there, getting my stuff out and doing my thing. I'm like, wow, like you're really doing this. Like you're really on a flight to Europe by yourself. Like, what? It was just a crazy feeling. I can't even like really describe it. And then landing and hearing, like, as they make the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is life? Like this is crazy. And I didn't have a lot planned out. That's the thing. It was very much like go with the flow type of trip. I think I planned like 2 activities. I was only there for the weekend. So I didn't want to pack my schedule where I'm just like running around. Like I just wanted to embrace the fact that this was a solo trip and I could do whatever the heck I wanted. There was nobody to answer to, there was nobody to look out for. Like I could do literally whatever I wanted. And so I landed, I got off the plane, and I was just like, I wanted to look like I knew what I was doing at least a little bit. So I wasn't in that like I didn't display that. But inside I was bursting with just curiosity, and it was like I was like a kid in a candy store because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally here and I'm literally about to explore a new country that I've never been before by myself. And I was just so proud of myself in that moment because I was like, wow, you made it. That was the thing for me. It was like, it was a moment of pride. Like, you made it. Okay, you bought this ticket, da 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 da. You made this split second decision, but like, now you're here. Now, like, you have to follow through with this decision. You made it. Like, your plane's not leaving for like 2 days, so you're here. Like you, and I had a couple of issues, just figuring things out. But I was so proud of myself that I didn't panic. I didn't get emotional. And I am a very emotional person. That's the thing about me. Like, I am very emotional. And so I was like, hey, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this on this trip. Like, it's not the time to do it. I didn't want to look like I was in distress. I didn't want to look like, that I didn't know what I was doing. So I was really trying to like figure things out. And I did. I did. I had a little bit of trouble getting to the airport, but I figured it out, got my train ticket, got on the train. Everything was great. And it was a really easy trip from the airport to my hotel. And the thing is, I had a check bag and I had carry on and I had a backpack, which honestly, no, I did not have a backpack. I had like a little my Telfar East Pack duffel, not duffel, the little bag that they have. It's a cute little, I forgot what it's called, but anyway, it's a Telfar bag, but not like the regular Telfar. It's a collaboration with the East Pack, like a utility. Thank you, a utility bag. It's pretty much a utility bag, and so I had that, and I had my carry-on, and I had my check bag. So I'm carrying like 2 luggages, and then having to carry the bag as well. But I'm making it. Like I was fine. I didn't have any any significant issues and stuff, just a couple of issues like kind of getting on and off the train. But I think this one guy helped me off the train when I was at the last stop, like before my hotel. But yeah, I made it to my hotel, and y'all, I'm telling you, it was like the worst was over at that point. Like I was like, let's go. And I literally checked into my hotel. They had a room ready for me at like 8 something in the morning. I checked into the hotel. Breakfast was still served. So I literally went upstairs, dropped my bags off, went and got breakfast, went back upstairs, showered, got myself together, and was off. And literally had an amazing first day. Just did what I wanted to do. That was the best thing about that trip, just like any of my other solo trips, was just I was there and I could do whatever I wanted. Like I said, I didn't have anybody to answer to. I didn't have anybody to tell me, hey, we should do this, we should do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't want to always go everywhere by myself, but it's a different experience. It's definitely a different experience. It's a different level of just everything. Just it's a really, really, really beautiful experience, to be honest with y'all. So anyway, I don't need to go into everything. If you guys want to know exactly what I did, check out the vlog. But I made it. I conquered, one of my bucket list items, because I will say that that was something that I wanted to do one day, but I just didn't think it would happen that quickly. I just didn't think it would happen that soon. And it really was such a spur of the moment decision. It was like literally I looked up these flights and literally bought it the same day, made the decision. But I also knew like, okay, if you don't do it now, the tickets are going to go up and you're not going to do it. So in this case, I think it was necessary for me to make that decision and make that decision quick. But I hope this video helps you guys in terms of just getting more comfortable with being alone, just getting more comfortable with being by yourself. And again, I'm a part of this travel group. I also watch a lot of TikToks and YouTube videos about solo travelers, especially Black women, because it is definitely different. I'm gonna just say, I'm not even gonna go into all of that because this video is long enough, but I definitely had some experiences. I never felt unsafe. I will say that. I never felt unsafe. I never felt like I was in danger, but I just had experiences. Okay. You guys can kind of maybe put that together. And so I will say that I did watch a lot of other women and their experiences and kind of the do's and don'ts when you're traveling solo, and you just really, 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 really want to be vigilant. You don't want to ever let your guard down. As much as it can, as easy as it can be, like you truly do not want to ever let your guard down. Always want to be safe, but I will say that I didn't do anything differently than if I was traveling in the US by myself. I'm always very vigilant if I'm by myself. I don't care if I'm going down the street from my house or if I'm going to a different city, a different state, and now I can say a different country. I'm definitely extremely vigilant, always taking precautions and just being, I would say, hyper vigilant in this case, because you don't have a second person or a third person on alert. Like if you bend down and tie your shoe and somebody's with you and you've got a backpack on and you forget to zip it, that person that you're with, snaps your backpack, or they're standing in front of you or in back of you. If you're by yourself and that happens, somebody can easily come in and grab something out of your purse or your bag if you're just not paying attention. Like things happen, and that's I say that to say not to put any type of fear, but it's a lot that goes on these days. It's a lot that goes on, and I think you just have to really just be careful. That's it. It's not about being afraid to do things and explore and just have a happy life, but it is important to remember that not everybody's intentions are good. In fact, a lot of people's intentions are not good. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and kind of that experience and what led me to even make that decision, because it was definitely a decision for sure. I know I said it was spur of the moment, but again, there were many situations of being by myself that led me to the point to even think that I could do it. And I really think that you do have to be confident in yourself and your abilities to get to that point, because you don't want to be afraid. Again, you want to be on your P's and Q's, but you don't want to be literally afraid, when you do something like that. So I appreciate y'all for joining me. Thank you again. I always say it, I appreciate y'all for being here. I really, really do. And more to come this year. If you guys have any questions at all, solo traveling, solo anything, any questions about the Amsterdam trip, you can leave them in the comment section on the vlog or leave them in the comment section of this video. Either one doesn't matter to me, but I will be sure to answer any questions that you guys have. But be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, click that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, all those things. And of course, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.